everyone, welcome to my astrology channel. Now today I will be talking about the Uranus transit in the sign of Gemini. Now this occurs on the 25th of April 2026 and Uranus will stay in the sign of Gemini for the next 7 years. Now it's a very long-term transit. Not just that, Uranus has not been in the sign of Gemini since 1949. That was Uranus's last ingress in the sign of Gemini. That was from 1941 to 1949. Now it is re-entering the sign of Gemini. Now last 7 to 8 years Uranus was moving through the sign of Taurus. So our Taurus placements was going through massive shifts, massive disruptions as well, massive changes, sudden changes, unexpected changes. Now that it's going to enter the sign of Gemini, our Gemini placements will go through that experience of breakdown followed by breakthroughs. Now before I begin my video, I just want to thank everyone for your contribution to my channel, your subscription, your comments, your likes, everything. It's really appreciated and I'm really glad that you find value in my content. Thank you very much. And to all the lovely new subscribers, welcome to my channel. Now let's begin with this transit because it's a very crucial transit. It is one of the most important transit of this year. Now Uranus symbolizes sudden changes. It symbolizes innovation. It symbolizes rebellion, revolution. It is a very free thinking kind of energy. It is unconventional, unique, a non-conformist and all that. Now with all this energy, it does bring disruptions. It does bring a breakdown. Now moving on to Gemini. Gemini is a mutable air sign, meaning it is changeable, it's adaptable, it's multifaceted. Now since it's an air sign, all this processing is happening on a mental level. So Gemini naturally rules the third house. It's about communication, connection, networking, socializing, your immediate environment, your daily interaction, your relatives, your neighborhood, where you live, your just people or places you go on a regular daily basis. So that's Gemini energy. It's also about sharing ideas, learning, knowledge, logical side, logical mindset. It rules our outlook, our mindset and all that. And also the style or the way we communicate, not just what we say, but how we say it, how we process information and all that. Now, with Uranus entering the sign of Gemini, this means a radical shift in all the Gemini matters. All the traits I just mentioned, you will experience a radical shift in all those areas. Now, obviously, you need to go back to your chart and see where Gemini sits in your chart. Now, if you have angles in the sign of Gemini or personal planets, you will experience this shift more personally and very significantly. Now, obviously, there's no way around it. You have to go through this experience, go through these changes. Resisting it is only going to make it more challenging. So best thing is with Uranus energy is don't hold on to old version of yourself. Let it flow, let it go, and embrace the new experience going forward because life is about growth and Gemini and Uranus energy both are fully aware of this. Neither of these energy find change, transformation difficult. So it's kind of an easy energy. Uranus and Gemini is actually comfortable. Now Uranus, when it was in the sign of Taurus last 7 to 8 years, it's not a comfortable position for it because Uranus is about change. Taurus is a very fixed energy. It does not like change. Gemini is fine with change. Uranus will bring that growth in the sign of Gemini. So here Uranus will bring transformation, radical shift, electrifying energy, disruption, erratic behavior, all that where our communication is concerned, how we network, how we connect, how we socialize, our learning, how we share information, how we share ideas. It's a very communicative sign. So there is going to be a shift to our mindset, our mental processing, the way we communicate as well, the style of communication as well will shift. Also, Gemini rules learning, education. So I would imagine there would be a massive shift in the education system as well over the next 7 years, most definitely. Also, how we learn, how we express ourselves is all going to go through massive shift. Now, Gemini also rules social media because it is a sign of communication and socializing. So it rules social media because it is a sign of sharing ideas, and that's what we do on social media. We share ideas. So there will be massive radical shift in the social media as well, in technology, in innovation, artificial intelligence, and all that. Uranus is very rebellious, technology based, futuristic energy, and Gemini is very mentally engaged. It's about communication and all that. So there is going to be massive shift in our mental processing. Now, these changes can feel rapid, sudden. Maybe you feel you're not ready for it. Now, Uranus was in the sign of Gemini last year as well for a few months. So you may have already got a taste of the shift that's coming, the upcoming shift that is coming. You must have got a taster of it last year. Obviously, you need to see go back to your natal chart, see where this energy was being activated. But again, this year, April 26th, for the next 7 years, this energy is fully engaged now. There's no way around it, basically. So there will be breakthroughs in outdated ways of thinking. This will bring a need to adapt and be flexible. Uranus is very unpredictable. So the breakdowns will definitely lead to breakthroughs as well in due course. But first thing first, Uranus wants to shift the dynamic most definitely. Now, Uranus is a collective energy. It's a transpersonal planet. It's not a personal planet. It's not a social planet. It's a transpersonal planet. Means it's the last three planets in the solar system in astrology. Now, obviously, Pluto is not considered a planet anymore in astronomy, but in astrology we still use Pluto as an energy that affects us collectively. So Uranus is definitely going to not just affect us personally but collectively as well. So the world is changing as well, and there's going to be a lot of shift as well. Now, if you go back to last time Uranus was in the sign of Gemini, was during the World War, was during the Second World War, 1941 to 1949. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into that in this video, but Uranus in Gemini, we can see where the world is heading at this point. And if we go by history, there's definitely an indication towards that. And we can see currently what's happening in the geopolitics. It definitely can, go towards that as well. Now, obviously, awareness is crucial. It doesn't have to be that way. If we are conscious of what we are doing or what we are engaging in, we surely can shift that. And again, Uranus is suddenness. It is unpredictable. So it can definitely change its path, and it can definitely avoid conflicts as well. So anything is possible with Uranus energy. So now the bottom line is Uranus transit in the sign of Gemini is the start of a long-term shift, and this will bring new cycles where technology is concerned, where innovation is concerned, also where communication, learning, education, all that is concerned. So changes will be unpredictable and rapid because what Uranus and Gemini wants to achieve is a breakdown of old systems, old structures, so that something new can be introduced, something that is more conducive to where we are heading collectively, going forward. So now I will discuss all the 12 zodiac signs and how Uranus will affect each of the 12 zodiac signs. So let's begin. Hello Aries, welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading. Now Aries, the Uranus in Gemini is a 7-year transit starting in 2026 all the way to 2032. Now Gemini is your third house, so Uranus will be entering your third house. Now third house is a house of communication, of thinking pattern, learning, your relatives, your neighborhood, short-term travel, daily interactions, daily environment, and all that. So all these will be affected by this Uranus transit. Now, Uranus in third house creates a highly charged and unconventional and rapid mind. Now, obviously, Uranus energy also brings this rebellious energy, this freeing kind of energy, free thinking kind of energy. So, in your third house of thinking and communication, Uranus will definitely help you get over past mindset, past patterns, traditional patterns, traditional way of thinking. So here Uranus can certainly make you an original thinker. Now, in the third house, Uranus will definitely bring some sort of mental liberation. Now, there will be sudden shift in how you think, how you connect, how you communicate, and all that. Now, Uranus is a very electrifying energy. It is erratic, disruptive energy. So here in the third house, it will bring a rapid shift in mindset. Uranus is not a slow process. It comes suddenly. And in your third house is going to definitely bring rapid shift in the way you think, the way you communicate, your voice. All these matters can go through sudden changes. Also, the way you express yourself, the way you think, and all that. So you may be breaking free from outdated beliefs, old mental habits. You will feel mentally rewired and upgraded with this transit. So your mind will be faster, sharper, more original. There will be an urge to say what you really think during this time, Aries. So you're drawn to innovative and unconventional ideas. Now, third house is also the house of sharing ideas, social media, all that. So again, there can be some sort of breakthrough in the way you share ideas, maybe through writing, through speaking, through teaching, whatever that might be. So with this energy in your third house, this is a good opportunity to also, discover a new platform, a new audience, or a new method of expression. All these can definitely be options during this time. You surely can be involved in all these matters as well during these 7 years. Now, obviously, Uranus is a futuristic energy, so there's involvement of technology, AI, all that. So again, here with the third house, there can be some sort of involvement where communication and technology are concerned. So you may be involved in tech or artificial intelligence or digital media and all that. And all this will definitely make you appear more eccentric, more intellectual, more experimental as well. Now, third house is a house of communication. So here words can be disruptive as well, or can awaken or inspire as well, your words. So the way you communicate. So there's an opportunity to use your voice to inspire or awaken people. Now, obviously, third house is the house of short trips, your environment, or people in your immediate environment as well. So there can be unexpected short trips or changes in routine or daily environment, or just people you're surrounded with. So there can be, sudden changes there as well. There can be shifts in relationship with your siblings, cousins, relatives, neighbors, and all that. You may be interested in new social environment that kind of stimulates your mind. Uranus here can really give you a very busy life, very socially fulfilling life, very exciting life. Now, it can also be a bit fragmented energy because Uranus energy, and in the mutable sign of Gemini, it can bring some sort of struggle with concentration or with routine and all that, because Gemini is a mutable energy. So there can be some sort of scattered energy, in the way you think. There can be mental restlessness or even nervous energy during this time. Your speech can be impulsive or can be blunt as well, because information sharing or information going through your mind is quite rapid. So there can be some sort of speech issues as well during this time. So here definitely obviously be cautious of how you speak, reflect, don't just react, especially where communications are concerned. Now, Uranus here can also lead to mental overload or information overload, and that can lead to scattered focus or lack of concentration and all that. So this is a good time to start a journal or write something down. These can be really useful to gather your thoughts and put it down so that you can reflect on it later on. This is a great time for ideas and conversations, news, discussions, and all that. The Uranus here will definitely change your trajectory. Just the way you communicate, the style of communication, how you come across will definitely shift drastically and can shift suddenly as well. So you could have some sort of new projects related to information or sharing ideas or new contracts as well. It could be a new business deal or interviews, job interviews. All that is definitely third house matter. So this transit definitely will upgrade your mind to match your courage, Aries, because you are Mars ruled. So you are all about the initiative, the bold action, the energy, the drive, and all that. Uranus in third house will definitely upgrade your mind to match that energy. So during this transit, you're not just acting impulsively, you're also thinking differently. So your action and your thought process can be aligned during this time to achieve your best potential going forward. So overall, Aries with Uranus in your third house, this means non-conventional thinking, communication style. It can be very direct and unpredictable. There can be mental restlessness, and relationship with your neighborhood or siblings will change or shift rapidly. So this is a good time to use this energy to inspire, to awaken, and to grow mentally and learn something new. Aries, thank you. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading. Now, Taurus, Uranus will be transiting in the sign of Gemini for the next 7 years from 2026 all the way to 2032. So that's a 7 year long transit. Now, all this occurs in your second house. Now, second house is a house of money, of income, possessions, self worth, your talents, your personal values, and all that. And Uranus is a very electrifying, unpredictable energy. It's a very freeing energy. So, here with the second house, Uranus, you can expect some sort of financial shakeups or reinvention of your value system, Taurus, for the next 7 years. Now, the last 7 to 8 years, Uranus was moving through your sign, your first house. So there was a lot of shift within your sense of self, your identity, your opportunities, your goals, your personal goals, your life direction, and all that. That was a highly individualistic and authentic time for you. You know, that was a time when you probably developed a distinctive personality of your own. Now, in the second house, over the next 7 years, it's all about bringing all that energy to your personal values and to your finances. So, Uranus here in the second house brings unpredictable and rapid fluctuations where your money matters are concerned, where material security and stability is concerned. So, here, money can become unpredictable but innovative. So, the best way to use this energy is to find some sort of stream of income that involves technology or something futuristic, something different, not traditional method of earning money. Now, obviously, you can have a 9 to 5 job, but you can add additional stream of income through unconventional sources. You know, maybe you need to be more flexible or take a more flexible approach to stability and security during this time rather than just be focused on the traditional method. So here with Uranus in the second house, you are probably also rejecting traditional concepts of money making. Here you're also looking at a stability from a very freeing perspective. So you want freedom along with stability. You don't want to be you want to be flexible. You don't want to be stuck in old ways or old version or old ways of making money over the next 7 years. So definitely here you may be rejecting traditional concepts and you value freedom more during this time, and it's good to do that because that's what Uranus here is for. It will help, it will give you these experiences of sudden financial gains and can be losses as well, so you need to be mindful of that. But again, here you are redefining financial matters and your sense of self-worth, Taurus. So Uranus in the second house will definitely bring sudden income changes. So you are looking at technology, online media, freelancing, multiple streams of income, really being very flexible. Now, if you are breaking free from 9 to 5 jobs, that structure, then again, income can be tied to communication, media, writing, learning, digital work, and all that because Gemini is the sign of social media and communication and, you know, all that. So here, financial independence comes through being original, through authenticity, through your true values, true self. Now, obviously, last 7 to 8 years, you have been going through this change in personal perspective, how you see yourself, how you project yourself, and all that. Now you're applying all that experience to your money matters. So here, Uranus in the second house can bring some sort of self-worth upgrade as well. You may be letting go of old scarcity mindset, old fears surrounding finances. If you are afraid to take risk, and you have more complacent kind of energy around financial situation or just any situation, you are shifting that mindset as well. So Uranus in the second house can also suddenly give you this realization of your own worth. So if you were charging less money until now, Taurus, you may want to rethink that and really demand what you're truly worth. Taurus, don't downgrade yourself. Use your talents, monetize your talents, and liberate yourself from old mindset, limiting mindset. This is the time you are letting go an older version of yourself, especially where your talents and your finances and how you make money are concerned. So be bold and be flexible about it. Now, obviously, you can be investing in technology as well, or tools. Maybe you're upgrading, you are upgrading technology, or you are going to social media or an online audience, whatever that might be. This is a good time because your ideas will evolve definitely, and make sure your ideas match your values going forward, and that is the best way to use this Uranus in the second house energy. So definitely there's an upgrade to your mindset and your money mindset mainly. Now, obviously, do watch out for any impulsive spending as well, because Uranus is a very erratic energy, very disruptive energy. It is a freeing energy, but it brings disruption and sudden ups and downs. So there can be income instability as well, and there can be anxiety around finances, around money matters as well. So flexibility is very important. Should be able to move around your money. You should be able to have multiple sources of income. So if one doesn't work, you can rely on others. So definitely Uranus here is a financial wake-up call for you, Taurus, and you are definitely looking at new earning opportunities. You are shifting the job structure, your income methods as well, how you make money and all that. And true security comes from adaptability. That's the Gemini energy, that's Uranus energy. Neither of these energies are about being stuck in one way. Both are flexible energy, both are about adaptability and change and growth. So true security and stability will only come through adaptability, not rigidity. So you're building your finances that is future proof. That is kind of you're building a legacy around your finances going forward, and you're not clinging to old systems. So overall, Taurus, Uranus in the second house can bring financial unpredictability. You can be going for alternate income sources during this time. You're redefining your sense of self-worth. You are letting go of tradition and adopting more unconventional values. You're prioritizing independence, freedom, and stability. You're kind of aligning those energies, and really these rapid shift in your financial situation will help you gain that freedom and stability going forward. Thank you, Taurus. Hello, Geminis. Welcome to Uranus in Gemini reading. Now, Geminis, Uranus will be transiting through your sign for the next 7 years. It is a long-term transit starting 2026 all the way to 2032. So all this affects your first house. Now, first house is a house of identity, of personality, appearance, your overall health, your direction in life, your personal goals, how the world see you, and how you project yourself, basically. Now, Uranus is an electrifying energy. It brings unpredictable and sudden changes. It can bring disruption, erratic behavior. It can bring fluctuations. It can also bring freedom and shifting from old ways of doing things. Now, all this occurs in your first house, Gemini. So it affects your whole life. It affects your identity, your sense of self and all that. Everything starts from the first house. So all areas of your life will be affected because you are affected. Everything will shift because you are shifting. Now, this is a full personal reinvention cycle. This brings identity shakeup, complete personality shift, new interests that feel radically different. You will have a desire to break free from labels as well. You are more rebellious or unconventional in your approach during this time. Now, people may say you have changed, and they are right because you will change with this energy. Now, obviously, first house is a house of your health, your appearance, how you come across. So there can be dramatic shift to the way you project yourself, the way you appear, your aesthetics, all that can shift as well. So you're presenting yourself differently, the way you communicate, the way you express, the way you project, everything will shift. Now you're craving for authenticity, true self, true you. That's what you're craving now. You're not craving approval. Uranus is a very individualistic energy, it's a very authentic energy. Gemini itself is a very flexible energy, it's very mentally focused energy. And all this occurring in the first house, which has this Aries Martian energy in your sense of self. This is not the time that you will be interested in public approval or other people's approval. This is about yourself. This is very much focused on you, on authenticity over approval. So Uranus here will bring a complete shift from an old version of yourself. This means faster thinking, brilliant and sudden ideas. It can also bring nervous energy and restlessness as well, but you are craving stimulation and innovation now going forward. You may feel ahead of time now or ahead of people around you during this time because because this is a life direction pivot. You're pivoting. This can bring major shift in all areas of life, as I mentioned before, because your first house of identity is getting affected. So here you're breaking out of old environments, leaving behind a version of yourself. Uranus in first house will manifest externally. This is by no means subtle. This is not a subtle energy. Absolutely not. This is very physically, publicly outward transformation. So definitely this is going to bring a highly individualistic, unpredictable, authentic personality within you. Now, you may appear as a rebel as well and a free thinker as well, because that's what Uranus brings in the first house. Now, this placement can also turn you into a nonconformist. Now, Gemini, by nature, you are a nonconformist. You are not much into traditional values and all that. You are a free thinker anyways. You think you are a sign ruled by Mercury. So it's a very logical, very, innovative and very curious sign. Now, Uranus joining here will make you even more of a nonconformist. You value independence and freedom above all during this time over the next 7 years. Your mindset is undergoing sudden total transformation. Your life direction, goals, all that is going through major shift over the next few years. Now, obviously, there will be some challenges, so you just need to be cautious of some of this energy, because you may also feel a bit unstable and untethered because you are shifting from old version of yourself, old environment, old ways of doing things. So just be mindful of impulsive decision making during this time. Now, this can also lead to burnout as well if there are too many changes happening suddenly. So obviously, there can be strong reaction from others as well, because you are presenting more authentic side of you, so grounding is very essential during this time, and reflection is very essential. So whatever changes you're bringing within yourself, do ground yourself, do reflect. And even if you're rapidly shifting, it's important to reflect on the decision and think over your decision before you make any. Now, obviously, you may feel a sudden urge to change something immediately, and this can be a defining event, situation, whatever that might be. This event may push you into a new chapter. Your confidence spikes in unconventional way going forward, over the next 7 years. Now, this change can happen suddenly, so you don't have to wait for 7 years for this shift to occur. There can be ups and downs as well. There can be changes coming at regular intervals as well. So here, Gemini, you don't need to fit into anyone's version of yourself anymore. This is a time to radically define yourself. So here, with this Uranus transit in your first house, Gemini, this will lead to a distinctive personality, which is very original, unique, and can be shocking as well to others. But you are definitely releasing an old version of yourself because you need freedom. You want constant transformation. You want to express yourself authentically. And this is what you are trying to achieve over the next 7 years. And you will definitely ascend. And Uranus energy here will manifest in dramatic changes in just overall self. It's not just your mindset, it's appearance as well, your personality, style. Everything can shift. You may look different, you may think different, you may project yourself differently going forward. Geminis, thank you. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading. Now, Cancer, Uranus will be re-entering the sign of Gemini on the 26th of April. Now, this is a very long-term transit. It's a 7-year transit. Uranus was in Gemini in 2025 as well for a few months, but on the 26th of April, it's re-entering for good. Now, Gemini is your 12th house, so that's where Uranus will be transiting. Now, 12th house is a house of subconscious self. It's a house of our hidden aspects, hidden fears, hidden struggles, hidden trauma. It's a house of healing as well. It's a house of endings, house of spirituality, isolation, retreat, solitude, house of dreams, dream state, and the unseen world or the unseen self, the inner self, the unconscious self. And Uranus is a very freeing kind of energy. It frees you wherever it goes, or gives you the opportunity to free yourself or heal yourself in order to bring that independence within yourself. Now, Uranus also represents uniqueness, going against the grain, being unconventional, being futuristic. It also brings disruptions, chaos, erratic behavior, and all that. Now, all this occurring in the house of the subconscious and the unconscious. Here, this can bring a sort of inner awakening. Obviously, when Uranus goes in your sign in 7 years' time, in your first house, that would be more about outer awakening, external awakening. But these 7 years, next 7 years, is all about inner awakening, Cancer. Now, this awakening can be a very private matter as well. It may not be shared with the world, or it may sometimes also be unconscious from you. You may not be aware of that you're going through these transformation, but it is happening under the surface. Now, this is a subconscious shakeup, definitely. So you may have sudden realization about past, subconscious, unconscious patterns. You may have some sort of awakening from these energies. There's an opportunity to break free from unconscious habits as well. The patterns that you are not conscious of, something that happens or is played out under the surface. It's part of your behavior, habits, and all that, but you're not fully aware of it, which lies under the surface. You will become sort of conscious of these as well. This will lead to an emotional awakening as well. So here you can expect some sort of strange or vivid dreams as well. Your dream state may be very active during these 7 years. So here it can feel like your inner world is rewiring or upgrading. Now, Uranus is a very innovative energy as well. It's a very rebellious energy, very innovative, futuristic. It's associated with technology and all that. So here, your unconscious self, your subconscious, your emotional world is rewiring. Now, 12th house is also the house of spirituality, awakening and all that. So here you may have some sort of interest in metaphysics, psychology, astrology, counseling, therapy, all that. So this is also an opportunity for some sort of breakthrough where therapy is concerned or asking for support. if there are any mental health issues or, any hidden struggles that you may have that you're not comfortable sharing or asking help for. This is the time you will have some sort of breakthrough here. So you will have the opportunity to release toxic emotional cycles, and some sort of sudden endings in subconscious, unhealthy subconscious pattern will free your mind, free you emotionally and all that. This is a very liberating kind of energy, but it's an invisible liberation. It's not external, it's not through others, it's within yourself. These changes happens within yourself and through yourself, not through others. Now, the freedom and liberation that you feel will be invisible because it's happening on a subconscious level. So it's very important to be on top of these changes, these healing that is, you're experiencing and all that, or the opportunity to heal that you may have during these 7 years. So be mindful that you don't self-sabotage yourself, because sometimes due to past patterns or unhealed patterns behavior, we may have the tendency to sabotage ourselves. This is not somebody else sabotaging your growth. This is you sabotaging your growth yourself, because you keep repeating old unhealthy cycles and you are resistant to change or transformation. So this is very important here, that you don't self-sabotage, because Uranus here will give you an opportunity to heal and grow and release yourself from these subconscious fears and struggles and all that. So just be mindful of tendency to self-sabotage. Now, endings will obviously lead to new beginnings, because after the 12th house comes the first house, which is in 7 years' time. So old identities quietly will dissolve during these 7 years, and you may feel the need to withdraw as well from people, situations, behavior, environment, and all that, because this is time when you would be very much wanting some solitude and some quiet time, some alone time as well. So solitude and need for alone time becomes necessary during these time in order to heal and grow. Now, the challenges that Uranus here can bring is anxiety and nervous system sensitivity as well. So you may feel sort of nervousness, or they can be sleep disruption as well, because Uranus is this electrifying energy, and coming in the house of 12th house, which is the house of sleep state. It's a house of rest, retreat, meditation and all that. So Uranus can disrupt that as well. So you may feel disconnected or lost at times as well during these 7 years. So it's very important to take it slow and take your time as you transform and heal and grow. And any hidden truths that do surface suddenly during this time, it's very important to ground yourself and emotionally regulate yourself to be able to transition yourself from these states of fear, shame, guilt, whatever the hidden struggles are, so you are able to grow out of these energies. Now, obviously, during this time, you may feel restless as well during this time, because some hidden secret or hidden situation could change suddenly, or could be revealed suddenly as well. Some realization will shift your trajectory of your life, future prospects and all that. So definitely internal transformation is much needed first in order to have that external growth. Now, obviously, freedom starts inside. So first, you need to feel free within yourself in order to, project yourself in an open and independent manner. So here, definitely, you release subconscious baggage, and that will lead to a major rebirth going forward, Cancer. So here, Uranus in your 12th house, Cancer, will really help emerge a very intuitive, unconventional side of you, which needs more freedom going forward. So here, definitely sudden insights, epiphanies, awakening, all that keeps coming. That kind of reveals your own energies to you, basically. So any anxieties or any struggles, fear will be revealed, and this is your opportunity to grow out of it. So overall, these 7 years, starting from the 26th of April 2026, is a time of major subconscious innovation, and you may need time to yourself so that you can develop a more individual, authentic side of you going forward, Cancer. Thank you. Hello, Leos. Welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading. Now, Leos, Uranus will be re entering the sign of Gemini on the 26th of April 2026 for the next 7 years. Now, in 2025, it was in the sign of Gemini for a few months, but now it's back in the sign of Gemini for good and will be in there until 2032. So it's a long term transit. Now, all this is occurring in your 11th house, Leo. So, 11th house is a house. Now, 11th house is a house of friendships, network, uh, social circle, your community, your long term goals, your aspiration, your future vision, your hopes and wishes, your audience, your fan following, social media, online activity, and all that. And Uranus is a revolutionary energy. It's a energy that brings rebelliousness, need for freedom, need for growth. It's a very futuristic energy. So here, Uranus entering your 11th house means there will be some sort of social circle revolution and some sort of future aspiration upgrade. Your goals will be upgraded during this time. Your social circle will be upgraded during this time, Leos. So here there will be some sort of shake-up where your friendship circle is concerned, your social circle is concerned, your community is concerned. If you have an online presence, your fan following is concerned, your social media, your followers, your subscribers, there would be some sort of shift or shake up in those areas. Now, you can expect sudden changes during this time because Uranus is a sudden energy, it's an unexpected energy, it's not a slow process. So, over the next 7 years, you can expect these sudden upgrades several times. So, here with the 11th house energy, you are outgrowing old social circles. Leos, you will be meeting eccentric, brilliant, unconventional people during this time because you're becoming part of a progressive and more tech oriented and more futuristic, unconventional community is not traditional community. You are more connected with, something where you're heading, your future aspiration, your hopes and wishes, like-minded people who support you in these areas, your soul tribe and all that. So you are open to that and you will be connecting with them as well. So definitely some connections, friendship may end abruptly as well, while the new ones come into your life, and it will feel very electric, very progressive as well. Uranus is a very progressive. So you're connecting with people during this time, Leos, that are progressive, that are supportive, that are good for your future growth and all that. So here you can expect new vision for your future, definitely. New ideas, new goals, and all that. 11th house is your long-term aspiration and goals house. It's the house of life direction. So you can expect some sort of a radical shift in these areas as well. So unexpected opportunities may come through networking. There may be some sort of innovative career path during this time, especially where technology, media, and communication are concerned, because Gemini is a sign of communication. So definitely some sort of a major shift, a radical shift is occurring where your social circle is concerned, and where communication is concerned, how you communicate and connect and socialize with your soul tribe is concerned. So definitely some sort of radical shift is definitely occurring in these areas, over the next 7 years, and several times over the next 7 years. So it's a continuous process. It's not a slow process, though. It is definitely going to be unexpected and sudden changes. So here you could be aspiring for a career path that deals with technology, some sort of innovative energy. Maybe you want to start online, you want to become an influencer, or you want to blog, or whatever you want to do. Something can be communication related, technology related, and your social community related kind of upgrade. So here there will be a desire to do something unusual and ahead of time. So you're definitely moving forward with this energy, Leo. Now, as I mentioned, online present and influence is definitely on the cards with this energy. So growth through social media or viral moments or public conversation that shifts your trajectory it will definitely be experienced during this transit of Uranus in 11th house. So here this energy will make you famous for something unique as well, a unique voice you may have, because Gemini is a sign of communication. It's your unique voice. So Uranus in Gemini is unique voice as well. You are a free thinker, you have your thought process. You are free to express those thought process as well and become famous for it as well, have a fan following for that as Leo. So definitely becoming known for your unique thought process, your voice, your ideas, all that, and reach a wider audience going forward. Now, Uranus in 11th house can obviously bring some challenges as well, which can be you may feel socially unstable as well. Obviously, there's a need to ground yourself with this energy. So you may feel socially unstable. Friends may behave unpredictably during this time. There can be group conflicts as well, because your goals are changing and it may be changing quickly. So there can be some sort of, upheaval there as well. So it's very important to use your discernment and ground yourself emotionally as you navigate this energy. But it will definitely bring some sort of shift in your mindset and how you communicate that can be largely quite positive going forward, Leos. Now, as the transit progresses and Uranus settles in your 11th house, you may have some sort of surprising collaboration as well. Some sort of group project could appear as well, because 11th house is the house of collaboration and group project and all that. So definitely that is possible as well. You may develop a new social environment as well, friendship circle, and all this can happen suddenly as well. So you may be meeting friends and socializing more during this 7 years, Leos. And if you have, and this is a good time to develop these long-term goals as well, because things can change overnight. This is really can be an overnight energy as well with Uranus, the unpredictability and the suddenness of it. So definitely some sort of group activity, group project, collaboration definitely can come your way during this time, Leos. So with this energy in your 11th house, Leos, you are learning that the future is not built alone. It's built in collaboration. And that's what 11th house energy is about. You are coming together to, build something, or you're voicing and you're attracting an audience. So you are expressing your creativity, your ideas and all that, and you are attracting alliances and supporters and all that. So Leos, with Uranus in the 11th house, you will have unconventional friendship, progressive social circles, radical freedom in pursuing personal goals, definitely. So here you will experience sudden shifts, attract alliances and acquaintances and collaborations that are eccentric, intellectual, not traditional, can be rebellious, transformative energy. So overall, with Uranus transiting your 11th house, Leos, you can expect unique friendships, progressive ideas, and you could be detaching and becoming independent as well. You are very goal oriented during this time, and definitely pursuing all these energies will bring you freedom going forward, Leos. Thank you. Hello, Virgos. Welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading. Now, Virgos, Uranus will be entering the sign of Gemini on the 26th of April for the next 7 years. Now, Uranus was in Gemini in 2025 for a few months, but on 26th of April, it's re-entering for good. So next 7 years, it will be transiting through your 10th house. Now, this is a long-term transit, so you can expect long-term changes occurring going forward. Now, 10th house is a house of career, it's a house of reputation, public image, your life direction, your vocation, authority, personal authority, external authority. It's a house of long-term goals and achievements and ambitions. It's a house of your job, business, professional matters, and all that. Now, Uranus is an electrifying energy. It's a very freeing energy. It is unconventional, unique, futuristic energy. It's a collaborative energy as well. So here Virgos, Uranus entering your 10th house will definitely bring some sort of reinvention where your career matters and your public image are concerned. So here this can be a very outer world, external world kind of shift. So your career, your reputation, how others see you in terms of your professional or vocation is going to shift. And this shift can be rapid because Uranus is a rapid energy, it's not a slow process. So here you can expect some sort of shake up in your career matters, in your reputation, and all that. Now, this can also bring unpredictability, disruption in job roles as well. So there can be several shifts where your job is concerned, your career field are concerned. There may be a complete shift in career field as well. So what you have been doing until now, you could completely shift to something else going forward. So here, any leadership structures, career direction, public recognition, all that, there can be unpredictability around these energies, disruptions, sudden changes, shakeups, and all that. So you may quietly, suddenly switch industries as well during this time. You may start something new, something unconventional. Now, it is in the sign of Gemini, so it could be related to communication, social media, something like that. Maybe you're moving to technology field or media or education or writing, communication fields and all that. So your career and reputation may not stay safe and steady during this time because Uranus brings those disruption and these sudden changes, and these can be for growth, for future growth. So there will be a shift in your public identity as well. Now, 10th house is how the world sees you. So you may be rebranding yourself during this time. You may be going viral or gaining sudden visibility as well during this time. You may become known for your innovative ideas, sharing ideas, communication, all that, teaching, learning, all that. So here you may be breaking away from an authority figure as well, or old career structure and all that, and stepping into a leadership role. Basically, you are hoping to follow a career path that is freeing, that is not stuck, that has growth and something that can give you mental freedom going forward. Now, obviously, there's a need for balance here with freedom and stability. So growth requires risk. You cannot have growth if you're not willing to take risk, Virgo. So here there can be tension between wanting stability and craving freedom, independence, where your career matters are concerned. So the more you resist change during this time, the more disruptive you can feel. So just go with the flow. Obviously, reflect and think over what you want to do, but do embrace new opportunities of growth during these 7 years. Now, obviously, as the transit progresses, this can bring career turning point, dynamic shifts, and all that. So, a sudden opportunity or change in life direction or life path can occur most definitely. So just be cautious of any impulsive career change, because you may just because you have a need for freedom doesn't mean you want to suddenly abandon your career path that you had without much thinking. So it's very important to not make impulsive changes. Now, Uranus can bring impulsive changes, so this is where you need to be a little bit more mindful of this energy. Don't make impulsive career decisions, don't burn bridges, don't risk your reputation by speaking too bluntly or openly or whatever comes in your mind during this time. So just be mindful of that, because if you take this route, you can experience anxiety due to sabotaging your long-term security, basically. So it's very important to be strategic with what you want to do, and just kind of weigh your options. What works better for you. Don't be reckless in your decisions. Just be more mindful, because Uranus can bring impulsivity and recklessness because it's a sudden energy. It doesn't want to sit and think for too long. It just wants to make moves. So that's why it's very important to be strategic and, reflect on your decisions before taking action. Now, obviously, Uranus brings an individualistic, unconventional energy to your career path now. So here, whatever career path you choose, it must reflect who you are becoming going forward and not who you were in the past. So obviously you're growing and developing, and you want to transform into something, more than what you were in the past, Virgos. So here you are looking for more future oriented, more mentally stimulating, more independent professional identities going forward. So Uranus in the 10th house, Virgos, does signify unconventional, innovative, and sometimes even, erratic career path. There can be many changes as well over the next 7 years. So, you are very driven. You have a strong need for independence in your professional life during this time, and you will experience these sudden shifts in reputation. You're breaking free from traditional career paths, and you're being more authentic and trailblazing where your life direction, your work is concerned. So overall, with Uranus in your 10th house, this can definitely mean unconventional career, sudden changes, and sudden success as well. Unique reputation, all sorts of different, unique, futuristic, innovative, growth oriented energies where your 10th house matters are concerned, Virgos. Thank you. Hello Libras, welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading. Now Libras, Uranus will be entering the sign of Gemini on the 26th of April 2026 for the next 7 years. Now Uranus was in the sign of Gemini in 2025 for a few months, but it's re-entering on the 26th of April for good. And this is a long-term transit. It's a 7-year transit. And all this is occurring in your 9th house. So Uranus entering your 9th house for the next 7 years. Now, 9th house is the house of your viewpoint. It's the house of your perception. It's the house of your beliefs. It's the house of how you see the world, your worldview. It's also the house of higher education, of long distance travel, of publishing, of philosophy, of truth seeking, expansion, exploration, traveling, engaging with unique cultures, different cultures, and all that. Now, Uranus is a very freeing energy. It's a rebellious energy. It is disruptive, erratic, and it also brings revolution, rapid shift, electrifying changes, unexpected, unpredictable changes, and all that. So, with Uranus entering your 9th house, this is a transit of a complete belief system revolution for you Libras. Here you will experience a massive mental expansion. Now Libras, with Uranus entering in your 9th house, it's a very exciting time because you're breaking out of outdated belief systems. This means radical shift where your perception, your perspective, your viewpoint, worldview, all that, your philosophy is concerned. Now, you may question your beliefs as well during this time, your beliefs, your philosophy, your faith, and all that, because there can be sudden interest in new ideologies. You are breaking free from limiting cultural conditioning or limiting belief systems, and you're adopting unconventional spiritual or intellectual viewpoints. So your world view is expanding, and all this can happen at a rapid state in an unpredictable manner as well. Now, 9th house is also the house of travel. So you may be doing a lot of traveling during this time. There can be a lot of long distance movement during this time. There can be sudden opportunities to connect with foreign cultures. Travel can also bring changes in life direction as well. You may be studying abroad, or you could be going for higher education, learning something new, as 9th house also deals with higher education. So here you may study something radically different, completely different from what you have experienced. You may suddenly become interested in a subject and you may want to study that subject. Now here you can also publish a book or write a book or teach, or share ideas or launch a podcast or a blog or an online course. So here basically you want your ideas to move beyond borders, beyond what you have been doing until now. 9th house is the house of the unknown. It's the house of what's out there. And with Gemini and Uranus energy in your 9th house, you are expanding your ideas, sharing your ideas, publishing your ideas, posting your ideas, which moves past borders and boundaries. So this is a very exciting time, Libras. Now, obviously, there are challenges as well with any transit. So here with Uranus in your 9th house, there can be restlessness. There can be conflicts around beliefs as well. You may be over intellectualizing everything as well during this time. So just be mindful of that. It's very important to ground your ideas into real world application. And that would help because you want to stay practical as well. You just don't want to be all about ideas. You want to also see how these ideas apply in real life. So that would be very helpful. So as the transit progresses, your belief system, your viewpoint, your perception will shift. And this obviously can occur suddenly. So you may feel mentally unstuck. During these 7 years, Libras, you will not feel mentally stuck at all, because Uranus is all about being unstuck. It's about detachment. So here you will be very free thinking. Your mindset will be very freeing. You want to explore and expand. There's nothing holding you back during this time. Definitely not where your thought process and mental pursuits are concerned. Definitely you are not stuck during these years. So Libra, what you're learning during these 7 years is that growth requires questioning everything. Don't just settle for anything. If you read something, it's important to explore ideas and read more deeply into something, because this transit will surely expand your mind and you will be willing to go beyond your comfort zone during this time. This transit is pushing you towards intellectual independence, Libra. So Uranus in the ninth house signifies a life driven by a need for intellectual freedom, unconventional beliefs, sudden transformative experience around philosophy, travel, education, and all that. Here you will hold radical viewpoints, frequently changing your personal belief system, your philosophies and all that. And you will be realigning with new insights and new growth, new opportunities, and all that, new mindset. Viewpoints and all that going forward. So overall, Libras, with Uranus transiting your ninth house, this is a time of philosophical independence, intellectual independence. It's a time of travel and exploration and all that, learning something new, something unconventional, and really challenging what's conventional, challenging what is traditional, and really growing yourself mentally and exploring, being more mentally agile, and also be open to new experiences beyond borders, Libras. Thank you. Hello, Scorpios. Welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading. Now, Scorpios, Uranus will be entering the sign of Gemini on the 26th of April for the next 7 years. Now, Uranus was in the sign of Gemini in 2025 for a few months, but on the 26th of April, it's re-entering for good. Now, all this is occurring in your 8th house. So this shift that occurs with Uranus there is a long-term change, and all that activates your 8th house matter. Now, 8th house is a house of shared resources, it's a house of shared values, it's a house of intimacy, psychological depth, it's a house of secrets, power dynamic, debt, taxes, inheritance, transformation, and all that. So, with Uranus, which is a very electrifying, unconventional, rebellious, sudden, erratic, unpredictable, rapid, innovative kind of energy, all that entering your 8th house, this will bring deep transformation within yourself, your psychological self, and also your financial matters. Now, this can be very intense and very liberating transit for you, Scorpios. There will be shakeups or unpredictability where finances are concerned, especially shared finances. Now, by shared finances, I mean finances of the others, unearned finances, and that can be your spouse's finance or investment or social finance, whatever that might be. There will be massive shakeups, massive instability, massive unpredictability in these matters. Now, as 8th house governs money tied to others in your life, here there can be sudden changes in your partner's income as well. There can be shifts in investments, loans, taxes, debt, inheritance, and all that. Here you're breaking free from financial dependency. That's the goal of this transit. By the end of this transit, you should be more financially independent, not codependent, because with the 8th house energy, it can bring financial and emotional entanglements because you're deeply connected to others or tied to others through money matters. And when finances are involved, Scorpios, there can be an entanglement, especially if it's unhealthy connection. There can be codependency. There can be dependency on others through finances and all that. So here you're learning to free yourself from these energies over the next 7 years. Now, these can be very sudden changes, unpredictable changes as well. So the goal is to adapt new unconventional financial arrangements or financial plan, your money, your source of income, your spouse's source of income, your savings, all that, investments, all that. There is a need to look at these in a new way. Now, eighth house is also the house of intimacy and power dynamics. So these can change as well. Uranus here can disrupt control patterns, and there can be unpredictable relationship dynamics during this time. You may need to break out of controlling patterns or secretive patterns or possessiveness during this time. A sort of radical honesty is needed here, especially in your intimate bonds, your commitments, and all that. So here there can be sudden endings or awakenings where deep connections are concerned, emotional connections are concerned. This transit can also expose any hidden matters where emotions and finances are concerned. So all this can lead to psychological awakening going forward, because 8th house is a natural Scorpio house already. So you understand this energy, Scorpios. 8th house is a house of shadow work. It's a house of healing. It's a house of going through those unresolved matters and healing past it. And Uranus here gives you that opportunity for these breakthroughs. You could be interested in therapy during this time, or support from experts or professionals who can help you break out of these patterns. There can be sudden realization about trauma patterns, childhood trauma patterns, childhood conditioning and all that, past conditioning, things that are hidden from your subconscious as well, that is affecting your life, that's driving your life, but it's unresolved. So it's affecting your prospect and your behavior and all that. So this is an opportunity also to get over those energies, get past those energies, do some shadow work and all that. Here, you may also be interested in subjects, hidden subjects and all that, and that can be metaphysics, psychology, counseling, astrology, all those subjects that are hidden subjects, but these are psychological subjects. These bring awareness through understanding these subjects, and this can help you as well, liberate you from being stuck in old patterns, old trauma patterns and all that. So here, definitely Uranus in the 8th house can bring liberation from emotional entanglements. You can feel emotionally energized as well going forward, Scorpios. Now, obviously, every transit comes with some challenges. So Uranus in 8th house can bring emotional volatility as well. There can be trust issues. There can be financial instabilities. There can be fear of losing control and all that. So it's important to be flexible, which the Gemini energy is all about, and be grounded as well during this time. Now, as the transit progresses, as this Uranus in 8th house transit progresses, financial or relationships could occur suddenly over the next 7 years. And this could be through a secret coming to surface, or you yourself having a psychological awakening during this time. So something can shift due to some sort of understanding or realization or epiphany, something comes to light, basically. So the lesson here, Scorpio, is that true power comes by letting go, by not being stuck in old version of yourself, by embracing new energy, by being a little bit, detached from control issues, not wanting too much control and be engaging in power dynamics and all that. You need to release control during this time and embrace radical emotional and financial freedom, going forward. Be a little bit unconventional about these energy. Adapt new ways of finding solutions to your problems going forward. So Uranus in the 8th house brings unpredictable, radical, and sudden changes to shared resources, intimacy, and brings deep psychological transformation. So here you may experience unexpected financial shift. You may possess unconventional intimacy attitudes during this time, or have intense and erratic emotional transformation during this time. You may be interested in exploring, subjects, hidden subjects, learning new things during this time, challenging traditional norms. So overall, with Uranus transiting through the 8th house, here there can be some sort of unexpected gains or losses where finances are concerned, and this will be around joint finances, inheritance, taxes, or your partner's money. This transit will also bring transformation, intense transformation, psychological transformation, rapid emotional growth. So the next 7 years, Scorpios, you can expect deep personal awakening, deep psychological awakening through sudden changes and upheavals. Thank you, Scorpios. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading. Now, Sagittarius, Uranus will be entering the sign of Gemini on the 26th of April for the next 7 years. Now, Uranus was in the sign of Gemini in 2025 for a few months, but on the 26th of April, it's re-entering Gemini for good. Now, this is a long-term transit. It's a 7-year transit, and all this is occurring in your 7th house. So your 7th house matters will be activated for the next 7 years. Now, 7th house is a house of relationship, of marriage, of partnership, both personal and business. It's a house of contracts, clients, one-to-one dynamic, and all that. So with Uranus, which is a revolutionary, rebellious, freeing kind of energy, entering your house of relationship, this will mean a revolution where relationships are concerned, where one-to-one dynamic are concerned, Sagittarius. Now, 7th house is the house of the descendant. It's an angular house. So you will feel the effect of this house very significantly. This is a very noticeable transit for you, Sagittarius. Here, there will be sudden relationship changes, rapid shifts where partnership are concerned. There can be unexpected new relationships. There can be sudden breakups or shifts in commitment. You may be attracting unconventional or highly independent partners during this time. You are seeking non-traditional relationship structures during this time. The type of people you're drawn to, Sagittarius, will change during this time. Now, this is a battle between freedom and commitment, because 7th house is the house of commitment and Uranus is all about freedom. So here, anything that is restrictive will be challenged, Sagittarius. You may want more space in relationship during this time, more freedom in relationship. You will be breaking free from old codependent patterns. You will be refusing traditional relationship expectations during these 7 years. There is a need for mental stimulation where relationships are concerned above all, because Gemini is an air sign, and it signifies mental stimulation, communication, ideas sharing, and all that. With all this in the 7th house with Uranus transiting there, this is absolutely non-negotiable. You do require a partnership that is freeing, that is mentally stimulating, that is not restrictive, Sagittarius. So here you will not tolerate any complacency in relationship or in love matters, any restrictions or any old patterns. You are releasing these old version of yourself or your old expectations in relationship. Now, 7th house is also the house of business partnership, agreements, contracts, and all that. So here there is a rapid transformation, rapid shift in business partnership as well. So if there are any collaborative ventures and all that, or if you want to engage in these, this is a good time to do that, because you will be definitely attracted to new unconventional business partnership, collaborative ventures and all that. Here, there can be sudden change in your client profile as well, or unexpected contractual opportunities. And all this can be very technology communication based partnership, because Uranus brings that energy. During this time, some of your alliances that are well past their due date will abruptly end during this time, and others will appear quickly. So you can be releasing a partnership and embracing a new one over the next 7 years. Now, obviously, all transit comes with challenges. With Uranus in the 7th house, the challenges can be around instability in long-term bonds. There can be fear of losing freedom in relationship. Your partner may behave unpredictably during this time. There can be difficulty around commitments. You could be non-committal during this time. So there's a need to balance independence with emotional maturity, Sagittarius. Now, obviously, as the transit progresses, a defining relationship may occur, some sort of commitment may come about, and this can be very sudden as well. So, someone surprising or unconventional may enter your life during this time. Or if you have an existing relationship, there would be a need for more space, more understanding, more growth, more curiosity in that relationship. So, the lesson you're learning with this transit, Sagittarius, is that love must allow freedom. Love without freedom is only control. So there needs to be freedom. You want more authentic, more intellectually stimulating, equal partnership going forward. So with Uranus transiting your seventh house, Sagittarius, this signals unconventional, erratic, and unpredictable relationship. This can mean sudden marriages, sudden breakups, or an intense need for independence within partnership. This transit also suggests some sort of magnetic attraction towards eccentric, rebellious, or even, for unconventional foreign partners as well. Here, there can be a lot of changes, unpredictability around relationships. So overall, Sagittarius with Uranus transiting seventh house, you can expect unconventional relationship, something that defies traditional norms. This can be long distance marriages, open relationship. This can be meeting partners suddenly, in unconventional way, in unconventional surroundings and all that. You need freedom in relationship, definitely. You need personal space within relationships and all that. Anything traditional may feel suffocating during this time, Sagittarius. There will be sudden changes. The characteristic that you want to see in a partner may shift as well. There will be a lot of social and personal impact of this transit because it's hitting your angular house. Also, overall, you are highly attracted to progressive partnership, and you also want to encourage individuality, authenticity within partnership, and in your partnership with your committed partner and all that. So definitely, it's important to ground yourself, reflect in what you want to do. There may be a sudden need to change a partnership, but it's important to ground yourself and make informed decisions, Sagittarius. Thank you. Hello, Capricorns. Welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading. Now, Capricorn, Uranus will be re-entering the sign of Gemini on the 26th of April, 2026 for the next 7 years. Now, in 2025, Uranus was in the sign of Gemini for a few months, but on the 26th of April, it's re-entering for good. Now, this is a long-term transit, and all this occurs in your sixth house. So your sixth house matters are activated during this time. Now, sixth house is a house of work. It's a house of your health. It's a house of your routines, habits, schedules, your environment, your daily environment, your lifestyle, the service, the duty, the task that you do on a daily basis, your immediate environment in terms of co-workers, working condition, your usefulness, productivity, and all that. Now, Uranus is a very rebellious, free-thinking energy. It's a very futuristic, unconventional, unique, unpredictable, sudden, disruptive, erratic kind of energy. So when Uranus enters your sixth house of work and health, this can mean sudden changes where sixth house matters are concerned. So your daily life, your work, your job can go through some sort of disruption or sudden change, a rapid shift, or some sort of reinvention where your job, your work, your daily life, routine, and all are concerned. So this can lead to a radical change in how you live day to day. Your work environment can change. There can be shakeups in your job. You may leave a job and start under the job going forward. There can be several shakeups. You may change your job several times as well, or if you're not changing job several times, there can be sort of unpredictability around your job situation or work condition, or how you work can be very freeing, can be very radical. So this can mean you are doing a freelance business, or you are moving around, you're working independently and all that. So you're not tied to traditional norms where work is concerned, where jobs are concerned. So you could be on contractual work, which is not a long-term work situation. So you could be shifting jobs, or you could be taking up projects or clients here and there. And that can mean some sort of unpredictability, or kind of freeing energy where work situations are concerned, where your routines are concerned, your habits. Routines can be very unpredictable, very freeing, all that. So now it is a sign of Gemini, and Uranus is very technology friendly anyway. So here, these changes, these jobs, these co-workers, the environment, all that can be remote. So you could be working remotely, or it could be hybrid work patterns, or as I mentioned, freelance. This can be tech based or flexible work. Basically, you are breaking free from rigid 9 to 5 structures, or there's an opportunity to break free from rigid 9 to 5 structures going forward, Capricorns. Now, sixth house is also the house of productivity, of your usefulness, service, active service and all that. So with Uranus here, you may feel a bit restless, you may experiment with new systems as well. You may change your daily schedule. There can be bursts of inspiration at work as well. You may automate your task as well. Automate your task so that you don't have to worry about scheduling and all that. So things happen automatically. So that could definitely be a theme as well of Uranus in the sixth house. Now, sixth house is also the house of health, your physical health, your nervous system, and all that. So there can be awareness of your health. You may be adapting innovative, new, futuristic ways to improve your health and all that. There can be changes in sleep patterns as well. There can be a lot of mental breaks needed. So you could be adopting unusual wellness methods, stress management method and all that. All this becomes very crucial as well, because Uranus in the sixth house can bring a lot of nervous system awareness. So it's very important to take care of your health as well, because if your work pattern is erratic and not structured, then they can be then that can affect your health, physical, mental health as well. So it's important to take care of your health as well, and get that good sleep, and whatever you need to keep yourself healthy. Because if you're involved in a freelance work situation or remote, there can be lack of boundaries in terms of hours you work. So it's important to have that boundary and take care of your health and sleep patterns as well, Capricorn. Now, obviously, here in the sixth house is a house of work, so it's a house of skills as well. So you could be upgrading your skills as well. You could be learning new technical skills. You could be pivoting into digital or media or artificial intelligence or communication based work. You could be developing multiple income streams as well during this time, and skill set required for those work opportunities. You could be developing those as well. Now, obviously, every transit comes with some challenges. So here with Uranus in the sixth house, the main challenge is burnout, overwork, job instability, scattered focus. There may be resistance to losing control where routines and schedules and work are concerned, and work environment and all that are concerned. So just be mindful of not holding on to old version of yourself, or old work patterns, old job opportunities and all that. If you are given the opportunities, new opportunities, be open to embracing those opportunities as well, Capricorn. So Uranus here definitely can bring sudden work changes, schedule shifts, unexpected sudden changes and all that. So the lesson here is efficiency must evolve. Your productivity needs to evolve. You cannot be stuck in the same pattern. You cannot grow if you're stuck in the same pattern. And this applies to your work environment, your job, your skill set and all that, and your health as well. So you are moving towards smarter, more innovative ways of working and living, Capricorn. So Uranus in the sixth house brings unpredictability, innovation, and a need for freedom where daily routine, work, and health are concerned. It can bring restlessness, where 9 to 5 jobs are concerned. Because you're favoring unconventional, tech-oriented, self-directed work. This is very self-oriented, self-directed work energy, freelance, remote, hybrid, all that. So here, this can cause sudden health shift as well. There can be challenges due to work habits and all that. There can be challenges due to erratic work habits and all that. So you just need to be mindful of balancing your new ways of working with your health matters. So overall, Capricorn, Uranus in the sixth house definitely brings a sort of a dislike towards rigid corporate structure. You want to be more flexible. You're open to unusual career patterns and opportunities. You want to embrace freelance roles, tech related roles and all that. And your lifestyle, your routines may not remain consistent. There will be a need to, you may be breaking free from old habits constantly over the next 7 years as well. It's not just a one-off shift. It can be several times over the next 7 years. So just be mindful of your health and your well-being. If there are sudden unexpected changes or issues around your health matters, it's important to give yourself a break. Give your nervous system a break. Have healthy diet plan, and your eating habits and your workout habits and all that needs to be more organized, even though there can be unpredictability around these matters. So definitely it's a very creative time where work are concerned, and it's important to bring, and you're looking for some sort of mental stimulation and exciting time, basically, where your daily life are concerned, Capricorn. Thank you. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading. Now, Aquarius, Uranus enters Gemini on the 26th of April, 2026, for the next 7 years. Now, Uranus was in the sign of Gemini in 2025 for a few months, but on the 26th of April, it's re-entering the sign for good. Now, this is a long-term transit. It's a 7-year transit, and all this is occurring in your fifth house. So your fifth house matters are activated by this Uranus energy. Now, fifth house is a house of creativity, of self-expression, creative expression, the house of romance, dating, love, fun, pleasure, children, passion projects, experiences that brings personal joy. Now, it's also the house of gambling and speculation as well. So with Uranus entering your fifth house, this is a time of creative awakening. This is a time of unpredictability in romantic situation as well. So here your creative expression, your romantic expression, all that becomes unpredictable, becomes erratic. There can be a lot of fluctuations in these areas as well. There can be sudden crushes, fast moving romances, unconventional partners, on and off dynamic, all that. Now, obviously, you're craving mental stimulation in love, in romantic situation and all that. And you will immediately disconnect from situations or relationship if it's boring or is not mentally stimulating. So you can definitely experience some sort of rapid shift with fifth house energies. Now, fifth house is a house of creative expression, self-expression. It's a house of putting yourself out there, shining your own light on others. So Uranus here can lead to creative breakthroughs. This is a time of innovative artistic expression, some sort of tech-based or digital-based creativity. This can lead to sudden inspiration, sudden downloads, unusual hobbies or passions. You can become powerful content creator as well with this energy, because fifth house is a house of creativity, self-expression, expressing yourself, and it's in the sign of Gemini. So it's about expressing ideas, communicating your ideas. And with Uranus here, all this can happen where technology are involved. So an online expression, it can be a podcast, blog, online presence, becoming an influencer, content creator, whatever that might be. So that's what you can expect over the next 7 years. So again, So again, there's an opportunity to take up, new ways of expressing your creativity. So you could become a performer, a writer, a designer, graphic designer. Anything that is online, digital, technology based, and all that. Now, fifth house is also the house of children, your children. It's a house of pregnancy as well. So with Uranus here, there can be unexpected events involving children. They can be unexpected pregnancies. They can be shift in what brings you happiness, your ideas of fun around children, daily life, what you do on a daily basis for pleasure, amusement, and all that can shift as well. Your hobbies can shift as well. What you do to have fun can shift during these 7 years. Now, obviously, every transit comes with challenges. So, the main challenge with Uranus in the fifth house is romantic instability. You can lose interest quickly, or there can be some sort of risk taking behavior involved where romantic life or your creative self expression are concerned. So, there can be a creative burnout from overexcitement as well. So, just be mindful of that energy, Aquarius. Now, obviously, as this transit progresses, there can be sudden romantic relationship development as well, or a sudden creative idea that can change your direction, your goals, your life direction, your life path, where you're heading or what you want to do, your future aspirations and all that. So, all those can shift due to a sudden creative breakthrough. So all these excitement can make you feel restless. You want to do something, you want to shift something, and you want to bring something. So this is also a good time to learn something new, develop new skill set in order to express yourself creatively going forward, Aquarius. Now, obviously, the lesson with this transit you're learning, Aquarius, is any sort of joy, pleasure must feel authentic, in order to feel alive. You cannot just be doing what you have always been doing. You need to bring some sort of new energy in order to grow and in order to feel alive. So, this is a good time to be more spontaneous where your self expression is concerned. Aquarius. So, Aquarius, Uranus in the fifth house brings unconventional and unpredictable and highly creative energy towards romance, self expression, parenting, your children, and all that. It signals a need for freedom in pleasure, and this can lead to sudden romance or unique unconventional hobbies, all that. And you may also have this risk taking kind of energy as well. And you're also exploring where your creative energies are concerned. Your approach to life is very unconventional during these 7 years. So, overall, Aquarius, with Uranus transiting your fifth house, you can experience unconventional love stories with lots of changes and twists and dramas and all that. And there's a need for independence during this time. You're seeking partners that are authentic, individualistic, and bring some sort of freedom in relationship. You're highly creative during this time. This can really lead to some sort of creative enlightenment. This can lead to some sort of unconventional creative expression going forward. So definitely Uranus in fifth house will push you towards taking some sort of risk and enjoying new energies and new unique expressions and approaches towards life, Aquarius. Thank you. Hello Pisces, welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading. Now Pisces, Uranus will be re-entering the sign of Gemini on the 26th of April, 2026 for the next 7 years. Now in 2025, Uranus was in the sign of Gemini for a few months, but on the 26th of April, it's re-entering for good. Now this is a long-term transit and it's activating your fourth house. So fourth house matters will go through rapid shift during these 7 years. Now, fourth house is the house of home, family, roots, your private life, your foundation, your inner security, your address, your physical house, real estate and all that. So here with Uranus entering your fourth house, there will be sudden changes in your home and family life, and all this will lead to some sort of emotional liberation going forward, Pisces. So there will be shakeups or rapid shift where your home structure, your family structures are concerned. So this can lead to relocation, sudden relocation, or you could be renovating your living space. There could be sudden changes where your living space, living situation are concerned. There can be changes in family dynamic or relationships as well. This could mean new roommates or unexpected visitors. This can mean shift in where you feel at home as well. Your sense of security may be tested during this time, but ultimately you will feel liberated going forward. Now, fourth house is a house of emotional foundation. Uranus transiting here can lead to emotional awakening. So here there's an opportunity to break free from old emotional patterns. You may be releasing family conditioning that held you back, childhood conditioning, the belief systems, the attitude, the mindset that you grew up with. If it's still holding you back, Uranus in the fourth house will help you release those patterns that is holding you back, the hidden struggles or hidden fears. Whatever that might be, Pisces, you may be releasing, or there's an opportunity to release these energies. Now, once you release those energy, you will feel more independent, more self-reliant, more aware of your needs in your private life, what you need emotionally. You will be more aware of your emotional needs going forward. So Uranus in the fourth house can lead to surprising personal insights. Your inner life becomes more freeing and less constrained going forward. Now, Uranus brings innovation. It's a tech friendly energy. It's a futuristic energy. It brings rebellious energy, freeing energy, transformative energy. So all this is applying to your fourth house over the next 7 years. So your domestic life can be very innovative. There can be some sort of tech-driven home upgrades during this time, smart home system, or you could be organizing your home around, advanced technology and all that. There can be some sort of breakthrough within, home structure as well during this time. Now, obviously, all transit comes with challenges, Pisces. So the challenge with Uranus transit in your fourth house is you may feel unsettled at home. There can be emotional restlessness. There can be tension with family members or people you live with. There can be a resistance to change as well. So there's a need to ground yourself and be a little bit flexible where routines are concerned. Don't be too stuck up in old ways of doing things. This is a time to change that, to shift that, and bring in new energy going forward. Now, as the transit progresses, Pisces, there can be sudden move. Usually when Uranus transits the fourth house, there is a change in location. Usually this can mean move to another city, another country as well, because fourth house is a house of your roots. So this can also mean your birthplace. So you could be leaving your birthplace as well during this time, or where you grew up. You could be leaving that environment as well during this time, or you could be returning to your birthplace, or you're returning to your roots as well during this time. So it can go either way. So definitely here a sudden move is on the cards, definitely. Home projects, family events, all that can suddenly occur as well. Here you may be reconnecting with your parents, your past and all that. There will be an inner urge to create independence as well, because Uranus in the fourth house can be a very emotionally detached energy. So you could be detaching yourself emotionally as well, or it will lead to emotional detachment going forward because you're looking for liberation, you're looking for freedom and space where your living situation, your home, family matters are concerned. So here, hidden family or emotional truth may also surface during this time. So if there are any hidden matters where your home matters, your family matters, your living situation, conditions are concerned, this can come to surface as well during these 7 years. So the lesson here with the Uranus in the fourth house is home and security can evolve with freedom. It doesn't have to be rigid. There can be flexibility and growth and evolution where home and your foundations are concerned. So this transit liberates your private life, your emotional roots, All this leads to greater autonomy and personal growth going forward, Pisces. So Uranus in the fourth house often brings sudden changes, instability, or unconventional dynamics to the home and family life and to the childhood conditioning as well. With this transit, you may feel like an outsider within your own family or home environment as well. And all this can lead to a need to build an internal sense of belonging and a sense of security and stability. This transit can indicate chaotic home environments, frequent moves, rebellious attitude, towards family tradition or towards family structure as well. So ultimately, you want to break free from generational patterns, Pisces, and that's what you are hoping to achieve going forward. So overall, Pisces, with Uranus moving through your fourth house, your home life will be unconventional. There can be a lot of unusual circumstances surrounding your home life, and there is a need for independence. Definitely, you want to break free from family tradition, roots, emotional patterns, and all that. And all this leads to breaking free from generational patterns, family patterns, especially the unhealthy family patterns that is not helping you grow, that is keeping you stuck in old ways of functioning. So here you are developing more resilience, you're more progressive, more unconventional, and ultimately you're seeking more freedom where emotions and environment are concerned. Pisces. Thank you.